Hello, everybody. Welcome to the. Okay, I can hear myself. The stream is up. That's all That's the only reason I do the intro, so I can hear. Anyways, how's it going, everybody? We should make an announcement that we are officially live. Yes, we are live. All right. Let me just open up something I need open. Alrighty. And let's make this announcement. Okay, rid circle. Live. Here's the link. And this is going to be compiler work, part 8, app notice. Everyone who wants notified, I'll let you know I'm live. Awesome. All right, we're officially live. Let's get Emacs open, huh? And D. Lamau. I gotta change permissions on this channel as it gets bigger. I just, first, hey, grammar to parser boy. How's it going? He says first. He is the first. It's pretty sweet. How are you doing, grammar? I see you and Eternal Wild Fox are getting along really well in the Discord. It's really cool to see. He's working on that PHP. Programming. Programma? Yes, yes. Source. Why not? We just opened Emacs. We gotta load some things. Let's load org mode by opening the to-do. Oh boy, my internet is tanking. I may have to restart streaming at a lower bit rate. I don't know what's going on. I'm dropping a lot of frames. Ooh, and your name changed color. I am fine. I worked on documentation for my language and fixed some little bugs in the compiler and language server. Nice! I always love to hear when people are working on documentation, because I live for the documentation. That's really cool. And you fixed some little bugs in the compiler and language server. That's so sweet. Your language is so mature, it's amazing. I just started mine and I only get to work on it for like 3 hours a day and not every day. So it's rough. But we'll make progress. We will make progress. I just have to remember what I'm doing because I haven't looked at this code in 2 days. Alrighty, so it looks like we're parsing. Okay. We should probably check for an error before check for end of parsing case. Source and end are the same. Grammar to Parser Boy says, yeah, but currently you can't use control flow because there's problem with jumps. That's okay. It looks like my internet's back up, so I only dropped 15% of the frames I've been uploading, but now we're back up to dropping none, which is good. And I believe I went down to 720. Maybe that's my issue. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it was just Twitch because it was a one-time thing. So you can't use control flow. There's a problem with jumps. I see. Do you know where the problem with jumps is, or is it like still in the works? Is it like, oh, the Codegen, we have to solve this really difficult problem in computing. Like we have to figure out how to figure this out first. You know what I mean? Or is it like, I don't know. Somehow the jumps don't work. We gotta work on it. Grammar asks, so what's planned today? Nice subject change. I like it. It jumps always to instruction 0. Oh my god, I've dealt with that so much in the OS. I feel for you. I'm so sorry. When I was making the OS trying to get multi-processing working, not even multi-threading, just multi-processing, just having 2 concurrent processes. And it was like for some reason, the program counter is getting reset to 0, and it doesn't make any sense. And then it's like I end up having my own version in the OS of like readelf, and I look at the debug information, and it's like there's just a call 0 in the disassembly. There's literally a call 0, and it's like this is I don't even know what to do. I don't know. Like a call and then the literal 0. Why would that ever be generated? Why is that there? I don't know. But I have dealt with that so much, so I feel so bad for you. Oof. What's planned today is nothing. I haven't looked at this code in a while, and I had I would say, busy day yesterday. My head's kind of all over the place, so I'm just gonna try and get back into it. Honestly, I'm just here to make some friends, have a positive space, and hopefully make a little bit of progress. But, you know, hopefully on parsing, we could work on parsing numbers, or we could just go straight to codegenning global variable declarations, because we could do that already. Very cool, very cool. All right, so yeah, let's go into the parser and figure out if we want to improve something here. Comment delimiters. They're not delimiters, but it doesn't matter. It's fine. Also, it only allows for single byte. This should ideally be like an array of char pointers. Can we do that and see? I don't know if that's allowed. Like, is that allowed? I don't think this is allowed in C. Yeah, I'd have to say... I think that may be allowed in C. But this is not going to work. Something to think about. Something to think about. To do. Wow. Multi-byte. Comment delimiters. Ooh. Backling.org. We get a link from Grammar to Parser Boy. Let's take a look at it. It opened in the wrong one. I think I know the problem now. This is great documentation. This is incredible. Did you, is this Doxygen, or did you write this website? Like, did you write the Doxygen style, or just did you do this from scratch? This is pretty cool. Okay, what does it say? Reducing code duplication. Duplication. I'm not good. Yes. This is very cool. We should make a program in this. It's gonna be hard without the conditional flow. I'll have to wait for that, right? But I have a person who wrote this by his own. Nice. That's incredible. That's impressive. It's so you have to re-update it. I see. You need JavaScript to run this app. Interesting. So it's using flex contain. This is pretty sweet. Is there custom CSS, or is it using Roboto font? Nice. It is custom CSS. Nice. This is cool. Very cool. There's a lot of data types. Oh, I realize now. It's mostly integers. And floating points. It's mostly numbers of different sizes. This is a very cool language. I'm excited for this. This has the fact that it's cross-platform too is really cool. cool. Very cool. Interesting. So you have, do you have quasi-quoting? Can you unquote something within a quote? If .NET 7 is official released, I had 2 new data types, I-128 and U-128. Hey. That would be amazing. Very cool. But yeah, that's a very cool website. It's very good. You have a Reddit? Incredible. You've got everything, my guy. Also, did you see that just glitch in the browser? I clicked this, it should open in a new one, but it opened in this one. Very cool. Very cool. Backlang. I don't have quasi-quote. Oof. You gotta get that unquote and unquote splicing, my guy. What are you gonna do? I'm just a Lisp boy. Why is my internet so bad today? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I think I can delete this monstrous comment. It probably hurts more than it helped at this point. Yep. 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 All right. Yep. Lot to do. Lot to do. Let's try and do this. Let's do a little code cleanup with this little expect helper. We probably want it above all of the parse stuff. What should this return? I guess the return value. Oh boy. What just happened? Did Emacs crash? No? Hello? Nope. Alright, alright. What do we do? What do we do? We would like to return a Boolean-like value. A Boolean-like value. If and only if. That would be if. Return Boolean-like value if given token is found next. Otherwise, reset parsing state. Do not change parsing state. Oh Christ. This is a terrible way to put this. I'm just saying that if the string that we give it, right, is the same as what is actually lexed next, then we'll update the lexing position. Otherwise, we'll keep the lexing position where it was. Your integer does not have negative numbers? Not right now. We don't have unary operators to make them negative. Yes, we could just parse integers as, I think I went through this in one of the streams. We can parse integers either like this, where we just have integer like 420 or integer negative 420, right? And we could just check for a negative here, right? Or we can have a unary operator, because I want the negative dash sign to be like an operator that's reassignable and stuff. We can have a unary operator with a single child that is an integer of 420. And this will allow us to get away with, you know, nothing really. But the operator will be able to be redefined for other types and stuff like that. Is the idea. We're not there yet, but that's the idea with numbers. But you're correct, Grammar to Parser Boy. Great observation. My integer does not have negative numbers. It is fully positive so far. which there's probably no advantage to. We could probably just do it the other way. And then also allow for redefining of the negative operator. So we're also going to need the end. So parse, we're going to need end, right? We're going to need a source to start parsing from. We don't need a context because all we are doing is lexing. Also, this should probably be lex expect. But if this deals with the parser, we'll go with lex. Why not? Why not? Okay, so the idea is that these 4 lines should be in a single condition. So we would like to advance the lexer and then do this, else reset the lexer to where it was. So we have to save token, token length, and end. Ooh boy. So it's going to get a little messy. So that's going to be token. Let's try that. Okay, so token current. Basically, we're going to need to advance, but we're going to need to save a copy of these things. Or just use the copies themselves and only update. That's better. So we'll use copies of all of these things so that they get updated, but ours get updated. Oh Christ, this is going to be a little complicated. Wonderful, wonderful. End copy equals end. No. Because this is a pointer to some other thing. So we need a char pointer and value, sure. And then we're going to give, yes. I don't even think we need to initialize it. But then we're going to give it end this value. Okay, this makes sense. This makes sense. Going rather well, rather well. So we have a few things that we would like to keep. Also a lot of things that we would like to check. Yes, end could be null. Why not? Okie dokie. We're going to have a token. Current copy, why not? So these are just pointers within a source, so this is fine. The source, gonna need that. That's gonna be delightful. Hopefully we can simplify this a lot, and I'm complicating it. That's the ideal. Okay, so we make a copy of the current token, the source, the beginning, and the end. Then we should lex advance into these new things. So how does lex advance work? We need the token. We need token length. I didn't do that. Okay. Yep, my bad. Okie dokie. This is going well. So now we would like lex advance to contain a new token length. Figure we'll keep the copy naming convention. Lots of dereferencing pointers in this. Probably not the safest code if you were to ask somebody who writes in Rust. But if you look at like the standard crates, is that what they're called? If you look at the standard crates in Rust, they're literally all just full of unsafe blocks. It's like, oh, so that's how the language is meant to be used. I get it now. But everyone says, don't use the unsafe blocks. You don't need to. It's like, oh, but to implement literally anything, you need to. And then this is going to be end value. Okay. We're getting somewhere. What's my error checking? A little dance here. This. So the idea, if there's an error, we definitely need to return that. So this Boolean-like value was a fantasy, right? I'm pretty sure. What's another way we could signal through a parameter that everything worked out and we... So, oh boy. The current, well, what will happen is these aren't equal, but it'd be kind of nice if we could just return that. Because I don't think this is necessarily, well, that's definitely an error. Sure, screw it. What did I just do? I looked down at my keyboard. I typed something, and then I looked back and it was gone. So this would be for an error. We're going to have error equals okay. I know, redefinition. Whoops. Ookie. Too few args in function like macro invocation. Well, what are they? I guess it's error. I guess we need to type. I'm just going to call this arguments and say flex expect cannot be passed null pointers. You know what? Must not. We're gonna take that that elite language choice. Let's expect must not be passed null pointers with the exclamation point. If you see an error with an exclamation point, you know a programmer's serious. Oh, I'm so silly. I've been streaming for nearly 25 minutes. It's amazing. And I've actually done things. Isn't that incredible? Most streams I get nothing done. At least we're making a little bit of progress on this complicated function that will actually simplify our lives. Why? What is that? Is that what I do at every stage? That is what I do at every stage. Okay. I feel like I should have a specific error for done lexing, just to, or done parsing, just to deal with this. But, we can see what to do. We can see what to do. When I start a new lexer parser, this helper functions are the first functions which I implement. That's definitely a good idea. I'm just not that, I can't plan that far ahead, you know? Heyo, that was a big bang. Hopefully the roof didn't just cave in or something. Let's think about this. So we could return an error. We're also gonna, this is so terrible. This is literally awful. because we need to return 2 things, and I don't want to return like a custom structure. I could put the error as a parameter and still return this, but that's that would be rough. Oh, but yeah, when I write a parser, I'm not thinking ahead that much. I just think, what do I need done now? Which takes a lot longer, of course. But to be fair, I'm 19. I'm okay with taking longer. I feel like I've already done so much at this age. It's like, do I really gotta live till past 40? That seems insane. Like, that's a lot. I feel like I've already done a lot. You tell me there's more than this past this? That doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't know if I'm into that. I'm considering adding a percentage unary operator to represent percentages. What do you think? I think it's dope. Because what else is the percentage unary operator for? Nothing, right? So use it. Use it for whatever you want, right? I think that's dope. That's a great idea. Were you inspired by some other language to do that? I don't know if any language has percentages, and they just turn into floats, I'm presuming. So we have to be able to bubble errors. But we also need to let you know, hey, something happened. We could return a struct expected because I can't be asked right now to think. And it could have like char found, right? And then we could have error, or something like that. No, the idea came around. Grammar to Parser Boy says. That's amazing. Let me just check the dis, make sure I didn't miss anything. Nice. We've been having so much fun in the dis. So, you could definitely have something like this. This is so ugly. I feel like I'm writing in another language, but I think it'll make sense. It'll all make sense. This is so messy. Oh Christ. I'm using my mouse. What am I doing? I don't know who I am anymore. Chat. Who am I? What is happening? I just used my mouse. Get this thing out of here. I don't need that. Ugh. I've been away from my computer for too long. So then we just have to say, right? Here's our out. Sure. Out.found equals not found. Out.error equals okay. Look at us. Perfect. So if current length copy equals 0, then that means everything we passed will stay the same. Which means that we can kind of do the same checks here as we do there. Alrighty. Hey, my internet's taking a dip again. Sorry, everybody. Feel really bad. I promise I'm not doing anything. I have one Twitch tab open, and then a Wikipedia and an FTP GNU.org. I don't think it's me. Just my ISP is saying, not you, not today. Gotta love monopolies where you have no choice. All right, all right. So this is returning okay with no error, but we don't update anything. I still feel like we have this found. So if not found, we're going to assume nothing was changed. And then we're going to say, how do we know we're done lexing? That would be not found and length equals, not length equals length, but I guess end equals end is what would be the most important part, right? I believe so. So test if the end equals the old end, I guess is what we're going to have to do, right? Or we could just have an extra. Or have this be a bit mask, right? Like flags. But I don't think we need to do that. We're just going to do this. Expect the return value. Found and done. So done being returned from expect means that we are done lexing. There's nothing left. Return. Nothing to parse, nothing to do. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Maybe we can eventually fix this all up. I don't know. So it's not done. Our expected value has not been found. And there has been no errors that have occurred. Wonderful. A little bit of object-oriented programming in C. Not very much so, but a little bit, a little bit. All right. That's really cool, Grammar to Parser Boy. You just came up with that percentage. I'm still thinking about that. Like, I haven't seen any language ever with that. That accepts percentages, like, parsing them natively. That's so cool. And I don't know why. It seems so obvious. Like, what? Why do they make us use floats? It's bullshit. Okay, okay, okay. So, if it's done, it's done. If there's an error, there's an error. Now we need to do our little found check, which we do here. Oh boy. I'm still using the mouse. I'm in a weird mood today. Oh, Elite Monkey! He says boo. It's true, I feel like I've seen a ghost. What's going on, Elite Monkey? You were around in the like first ever streams. That's so cool. How are you doing? What brings you back to the streams? I'm great, great, great. That's awesome to hear, Elite. Very awesome to hear. How about you? I'm back from vacation, didn't I tell you? You're probably right. I I've had a busy few days. I forgot things. I also have the memory of a goldfish, so I'm sorry. You probably did tell me. He asks, how about me? I'm doing okay, my guy. I'm I'm making it. I'm really glad you chose to come back and tune in again. We're working on a compiler. I'm glad that your vacation went good, or at least it sounds like it did, based on how happy you are. All right. So, if we find it, we would also like to update everything, right? Well, I came home last Sunday, so Lamau. So you're just doing great in general. That's awesome. That's really good to hear. I have to update current token. I don't have to update source, do I? Do I even use this? I don't use this. Goodbye. So do I even need source? I don't know if I need source. That would be nice. Because it just bases it on the token, I believe. That's cool with me. That's cool with me. Because Lex Advance uses the token end as the source. Yes. This is all coming together. I wanted to watch you yesterday, but you had some stuff you told me. Yeah. Yesterday was very busy. So much went on, so much went on. So if we update the current token, we update the end pointer, we need to update the current length. But yeah, that's right. I remember our conversation now, Elite Monkey. That was yesterday. I feel like so much has happened. It's been like a week, but it's only been... that was 1 day ago. Amazing. So we update these token parameters. Honestly, we should not like keep track of the token length. We should have like a helper inline function that just gets the length of a token, but it does not matter right now. I've been streaming just over half an hour. I want to thank everybody so much for watching. You Elite Monkey, Grammar 2 Parser Boy, and there's Twitch tells me there's one other lurker in here, so whoever you are, I thank you as well. I also want to mention, that's right, there was a follow after the end of yesterday's stream from his name seems like he just mashed his keyboard about right in the middle, around the F, G, H, and there. So, it's a long name, but I would like to thank for following yesterday after the stream. He got us 1 follower closer to Twitch affiliate. We're actually so close. I'm so excited. We would like to expect. Not gonna deal with the documentation right now. So we are expecting a certain token in thy Lexer, and we would like to update these 3 parameters if and only if there's a matching one. Otherwise, okay, if we don't get one, then we don't set these flags and nothing happens. So now we just need to make one of these in one of these. Sure. Why not that? We're just going to set. Well, I guess we're just going to give a pointer. How did we do this? We actually just return one from Lex Expect, so we never have to create one until... Yeah, we can just say expected equals expect. Okay, okay. Okay, so we're going to need the current token. And then we're going to need the length, and we're going to need the end, and then we're going to need what we expect. Some of these are addresses. And instead of having these 4 lines, we're going to have this line. Equals, please. And we're going to say if expected.error.type return expected.error. So if we encounter an error while lexing, say, sure, return that. Ooh, I have a good idea. And then I think I can just do this, by the way. I think that'll be cleaner. If done, that's what I've been doing in the past. So that's what we're going to do. If done, just return OK. We're done. And if found, continue on. Okay. Pretty good. Still 4 lines of code. So what we're going to do is have our little macro helper. Elite Panda 03. Definitely not an alt of Monkey. Shh. We have a first time chat from a new viewer. Elite Panda 03. How's it going? Oh, you're so funny. Yes, lots of things. Okay. These 4 lines. Ooh. Could I put all of these within the if, technically, with semicolons or commas? No? Probably not. Expression result unused. It uses the first one. That's unfortunate. Elite Monkey asks, so you affiliate now? Oh, we got a new follow from Elite Panda 03. Hey-oh. I'm not quite affiliate. Affiliate requires an average of 3 viewers over the past 30 days, which we have, which is awesome. I'm so proud of everybody for watching and so thankful. But we have that. We just need 50 followers and we're at 40. So I need 10 more followers and I'm there. Then we got subscriptions, we got VIP members, we got all sorts of things that unlock. So ideally, we want to kind of put this, at least, in its own place. Okay, so we can expect, and then just give all the things that we need to give. Like so we're going to have expected, which is the object. We're going to have expected token. So this is, yeah, why not? Anybody good at function-like macro definitions? I think this is correct. We could technically surround everything with like parentheses to ensure it gets replaced properly, which is kind of insane. And I don't know if it's needed, so we're just not going to do it right now. So why are these so ugly? You were lined up before. Wait, 50? I thought you said 5. Yeah, I need 50 followers to get Twitch affiliate, then I can get subscribers and things. I think 5 subscribers allowed me to unlock like follower only mode, and you got me higher in the algorithm, you know what I mean. Elite Monkey says, oh yes, remember when I said I don't know how to code? That's right, I'm gonna ask you questions anyways. So then after calling expect, we should just call if expected.found, and everything should be fine and hunky-dory. So now, right? These 3 lines, also this goes down there. These 3 lines can turn into expect that, and then a lot of boilerplate stuff. So these arguments aren't evaluated or anything, right? Are there sand castles in this code? There is no hash map yet. No. We haven't even built yet. Streamer 2022 fun compiler debug. Build. Hey, it builds. Get the builds. It works. It works. Look, it works. Elite Monkey says, no, bad code, instantly. Because there's no sandcastles, Lamau. That's not bad. ID of redefined variable B. Error, redefinition of variable. That kind of sucks. But then there's, this is everything we're able to parse. That's very cool. Very cool. It looks like these worked. You can get rid of this. You can get rid of this. And now we can expect. So token length equals 0. Air.type equals none. Air equals advanced. This is literally an expect. We just don't use the found. So maybe we should make an advance as well. Do we do that and expect? Oh god, did I go too far? I always go too far with things. So we have this, but it's kind of custom in expect because of its nature of returning this value. So yes. So we can expect this token, which just means that we update this expected and return. Basically just check if all our cases. Are we done? Did something happen that we didn't expect? Cool. So we lex, check for errors, return them, bubble them up. Then we have a macro to do that. That's very helpful. That's effectively what this does. We just don't have to use the found. It's not a bad idea. So we could also just do expect, expected, and used. Not the best code in the world, but that's kind of what it does. But the problem is these won't be updated. That's right, these won't be updated unless this is actually used. We would need a lower level than expect. All right. Because this expect is kind of broken up, if you can see, into multiple things. This one isn't. Elite Monkey says, I gotta go eat dinner. I'll be back later. Awesome. Thank you so much for letting me know. And thank you so much for tuning in while you can. I really appreciate it. And thank you for bringing all of your positivity. See you in the next life. Or just in a little bit. What did I forget? Current token, token length, and we've expected token. Oh, we need the actual thing to expect. Yes. Why do I save old end here? That's okay, that's what expect does now. Wonderful. Hey, look at us cleaning up our code. It still works. It still works. I can get rid of all these fuckers. All right, we're making a little bit of progress. That's a lot better to read instead of having those groups of duplicated code. And we could still do a little better, but this is much better. Yes, yes. This literally just handles the 0 case. Could we not just expect 0? What does token string equal p use? Alrighty. Oh yeah. Okay, so we have string, basically our own version of string compare. And it will only check within the token bounds. So what we could actually do, where was I? We can't expect because we lex somewhere else. I see. I see. Also, we do return error after this, not okay. Okay. Doing pretty good. I think that's better. We should figure out, let's think about what we actually want to do in our language now. Eternal Wild Fox, hello. How are you doing? Thank you so much. Cool to see you here. How is it going? Okay, okay. Doing fine, having fun programming. What about how you are doing? I'm doing okay. I'm making it. Had a busy day or two, you know. But I'm liking getting back into it. We were just able to simplify our code, our parsing code using this expect macro we just wrote. So now we can just expect the colon, and if it's found, we'll set this flag expected.found. So this is now much more readable, and we don't get such kind of confusing clusters like this. And ideally, every time we see something like this, we could either do a continuation, or we could just make a macro that does these three things. It's not the end of the world. But thank you for asking, Eternal Wild Fox. I really appreciate you inquiring how I'm doing. Talking about readable, did you read my TCP socket class on your Discord? I have not yet. The WebSocket or the TCP socket? I think I read the WebSocket. Yeah, I didn't read the TCP socket. Oh boy. Grammar says, hi, Wild Fox. This is very readable. This looks like a C# class. This is cool. PHP. Ooh, P. Very cool. So you get a page at a time. Very cool. That's great code. I mean, it's understandable. I can read it all. Nothing's confusing. PHP 8 is mature with type hints. Nice. It looks very nice. It's nice code. Nothing's like, it's definitely not code like this in the background, you know what I mean? Its care was taken when writing it. And I still need to comment it. You're so awesome. That's very cool. But yes, it is so awesome. We are actually on our way to affiliate. We basically just need 10 more followers, and I'm an affiliate. That's basically all it takes. I guess we are an affiliate. All of us are affiliates. No, just me. But if you're enjoying what you're seeing, I've been streaming almost an hour now. Be sure to hit that follow button if you haven't already, and check out the Discord that you just saw. It's a lot of fun. We all get to talk to each other and hang out. As well as the YouTube down below if you want to check out any previous video on demands, any previous broadcasts. They're available there. And then there's also a donate button, which if you have the extra money and are feeling very generous, I would greatly appreciate any and all donations. If you write a note and your username, I'll read it on stream. Eternal Wildfox says public function generate WebSocket handshake key string client ID string random equals client ID.time random bytes 999 return hash SHA-512 random. The WebSocket class can only generate a WebSocket key. I see. And that's pretty useful though. And there's really not much on top of TCP that a WebSocket is. It's not too bad, depending on what you're trying to implement. Okay, so we have to, what if we expected the equals? What would that turn this into? Instead, we would then expect a type name. So we'd have to lex here then. That's not a bad idea. I know it's more akin to what we're actually wanting. So I think all this moves down. I think this, nope, this moves within here. Which means this moves within here. Okay, we're doing this. So then we should say expect the equals. Right? And equals. Grammar says, I leave now. I will watch a German stream who's writing a compiler in C++. Nice. They're gonna have an easier time of it, I promise. I'll see you, Grammar. Have fun. Hopefully you learn a lot. Eternal says, I am refactoring my test Discord bot, which non-object-oriented programming code. And then Eternal talks to Grammar, taken off and says, have fun. Awesome. Absolutely have fun. That's really cool, Eternal Wild Fox. I have a hard time going back to old code and refactoring it a lot of the time. I'm like, or I could just work on this new project that's shiny and new. But the fact that you can go back and make things better is so cool. It shows how much you have actually improved, right? So now, if we find an equals, that goes here now. Then we need to check for the symbol we got being an existing variable because we are assigning to it right after the colon. So we expect a colon, and then we expect an equals. And if we don't find that, then we assume it's a new type. So we lex get the type, check if it's a valid type, and then we generate a type error if it's not a valid type. Okay, this is making sense now. And then, of course, create node. Check for initialization. This is currently so bad. So bad. Whatever. Eternal Wild Fox says, I am doing multiple projects at once. I switch between projects. That's amazing. That's really cool. I do too. I can't always work on the compiler because I'm not always streaming, right? And sometimes I have like a few hours or 10 minutes where I didn't expect it. I'm like, ooh, I can program, and I get to work on my text editor or my OS or something. Simon the Swede, how's it going? You've been here for a few streams. You're always awesome. He says, "Hi Lens, could you program a program that will teach me C#?" Love. Oh, I wish. I guess the best way to learn C# would be to do what you're interested in. First of all, if you want to learn like servers and stuff, go for like the model view controller and learn all that. Or if you want to learn like game development, go learn like scripting and how to make arrays and how to actually integrate it with like a game engine like Unity. But you could do so much to learn C#. There's plenty of tutorials out there. And honestly, Unity game dev tutorials are a great place to learn the very basics. Not like the best way to do things, just like learn the basics. Yeah, this is awful. This is not good type checking or anything at all. We can still have those in the future, but it'll be a positive and then have a fall through. Perfect. I think I've made myself clear with these comments. Eternal Wild Fox says, start by learning the basics. Exactly. And then Simon the Swede says, I'll check those out. Awesome. That's good to hear. Good to hear. But yeah, there's a lot of Unity game dev tutorials that teach C#. So you can learn like how to generate random numbers and how to do a whole bunch of things. Okay, so our control flow is now a little bit easier to understand. There's a lot of to-dos that make it harder to understand, but it's really simple. We basically lex a token. If it's nothing, get out of there. If it's an integer, return the integer. It's a self-evaluating value, or self-evaluating node in the AST. We have some more to do, but then we get, if it's not an integer, we go, okay, it's some symbol. And if it's a symbol, we check for a colon, then an equals. If there is no equals after the colon that we found, then we just say, hey, we're going to check for a type. But if there is an equals, we check for an existing variable of the symbol that we got. And if that has been defined, then we can reassign and give it a new expression. I think that makes sense. And then, yes, this is where we lex the proper type and initialization. Yep, making sense to me. So for now, initialization can only work with literal types. So you could only create an integer that accepts an integer. But you couldn't say like 2 plus 2 as an initialization, which honestly is not the end of the world. Can I go to example? I don't have it open. Nice. Did I have simple example? I do. Okay, so perfect. So this is our tree, and this is our AST. No, this is our source code, not our tree. This is our tree. And effectively, all of this should work out, except for this redefinition. We don't actually catch this redefinition. We're returning fine, which is interesting. Do I need a new line at the end? No, that did not help. Then we just get int 0. Ooh. Ooh, bugs. I'm pointing it to the right file. Yes. Interesting. So we now get compilation finished with no error if we do simple, but if we do example, then we get a failed to define variable. Ooh, we broke something. Isn't that fun? So we had environment set fail. How did that happen? What did I just change? I wrote a comment. I flipped around the control flow, so maybe the errors are being handled incorrectly now. Can I have my comment back? Thank you. Eternal Wild Fox asks, do I use Subversion, SVN? I do not. I use Git only. I use Git, GitHub. Like the remotes I use are GitHub and Codeberg. But locally I just use Git because it's easy and I like it. Okay, yes, to do that stuff. For now, I use Subversion and GitHub both. So GitHub is a remote. Is Subversion also use Git? Is that what you're saying? Because I think Subversion is also like its entire own system, right? It's not, it doesn't use Git. Or can you use Git on Subversion? Because I thought Subversion was like an older one, and like used by companies to instead of Git. But I don't know. SVN works local or on a server. Right. So does Git. Git is the same thing. Git works locally until you push it to a remote. So is SVN another remote for Git, or is it its own program that you have to push to? For example, like can you make commits separately and different? Or are they both based on the same .git directory? You know what I mean? So there's the .git that contains all your Git information locally. It's its own program. Nice. Why do you use 2 version control systems instead of just 2 remotes, for example, of Git? Are there 2 different, like, trees? Do you make different commits and changes in each one? How do you synchronize them? Okay, so we are expecting an equals. If it is not found, then no harm done. Seems fair to me. So we are returning okay in this expect. I now understand what's happening. Hey, we got a lurker follow. Jope Diawala. Hopefully I didn't just murder your name. Jope Diawala followed this minute. Thank you so much for the follow, and I really appreciate you watching. Feel free to say hi, ask any questions. We are open to anyone and everyone in the chat, as long as you are nice. First time chat from the viewer, the person who just followed. I don't want to butcher his name again. He says, "It's fine, dude." Yeah, sorry. My bad. So we're actually at the end of the file, and when we expect equals, we haven't done this stuff yet. So we should probably do this stuff, because we don't actually use vardecal after we add a child to it. So there's no reason for that to be split up. And then, right? Or we should do all of this after, in which case it wouldn't work, because result wouldn't be set. As a child of the symbol. That's close. Still failed to define variable. It's not a good sign. Because we're getting here. Which variable? Which status? And then, sure. Variable B, status 2. What does a status of 2 mean? From environment set? Existing binding value overwrite. That would be a reassignment. That's correct. But it says failed to define variable. Because it's not 1. So we are trying to create a new binding. So why isn't redefinition of variable being caught? So I guess no matter what, we have to check for the variable binding thing. What if this is just separate from the reassignment? Is this possible? Let me just picture this. Not picture this. Let me just butcher the code and see if I can do it. Right. Do that. Check that type is actually valid before redefinition error. No. I think redefinition should take precedence over a type error. All right. Create new error type. Yeah, that's, so we don't have error generic. That's probably worth it. So we can remove this to up here. Okay, so let's think about this control flow now. We get some unknown symbol followed by a colon. And in our little fancy little language, that means it's a variable declaration or a reassignment, or probably in the future even more stuff. So we got to check for all those things. But we don't want to have a redefined variable. So what we need to do, say if we've gotten this symbol before, it's an error. Right? But only if we're not assigning. So once we figure out it is not an assignment, I guess this would be, we could check for the type error. And if there's no type error, then we can make sure, hey, check for variable redefinition. I see. Here's the kicker. So now, when we do a reassignment of an existing variable, for type checking, we kind of need that type. Okay. So basically, could we just do this? I know it's terrible, terrible code. Yes. So effectively, we would like to say if it's a reassignment, look it up. And what does environment get return? 1 for success, 0 for failure. So reassignment of a variable that doesn't exist, that has not been declared. Sure. That's probably our error message. I don't really know what kind of error that would be, but we will go with it. So now we would like to say, okay, ID of undeclared variable. Sure, why not? That's what it's going to be. Eventually, we should probably add a to-do, add span location or something to the error or source. Yeah, okay. I can say this better. Add source location or something to the error. That's better. So let's compile. Okie doke. Reassignment of a variable that has not been declared. That's this one right here. Oh, because we're not checking for the 0 case. Hey, we did it, everybody. We refactored. We expect an equal to do that. This is good. I think it's good enough. Because now this is more clear that this is a redefine and this is an undeclared. Yeah, it seems like duplicate code, but it is not. They are separate errors in different stages within parsing. So yeah, that's good enough for me. Good enough for me. How are y'all doing? How's everybody doing? Does anybody have any questions? I'm here to answer them. I'm going to drink some water. I missed some chats from Eternal Wildfox earlier. I had to test it out to maintain both at the same time or in the same directory, but it works, so I use it. Nice. He's talking about Git and SVN working together. That is very... You have many a backup. Because if you can have multiple remotes for SVN and Git, that would be pretty baller. We could have this condensed down into like expect type. Not expect certain type, I guess. So it would have to be like expect any type. Or validate type or something. It would have to be expect because it lexes. In any case, we now have redefined variable errors somewhat. They're not great, but we do have them. And we should also have errors specifically for the case when something that we are trying to reassign doesn't exist, but it looks like that completely failed. Oh, I'm still passing an example. Never mind. Yeah, there we go. I was like, wait. Everything worked. No, I got so sad, but it works. It works. Everything's fine. So you can see that we're able to parse a variable declaration of A, and we stored this literal 69 expression in the parsing context. So I guess we should just have that as a child of the variable declaration if this is a thing. Then we can just check if there's a next child to the symbol in the declaration. We can codegen that first, or I don't know. We'll see. We will see. In any case, we can now parse this variable declaration, but we error out at the place of an undeclared variable C being reassigned. That's perfect. And if we go back to A, of course it'll work. And then if we uncomment our last line, we now get back to our redefined variable error. Perfect. This is incredible. Eternal Wild Fox says, testing my PHP auto-loading. I don't know what auto-loading is. What's auto-loading? Should I look it up? That sounds interesting. Include once Discord PHP client autoload autoload.php socket equals new Discord PHP client sockets TCP socket set host localhost var dump socket get host. Ooh. PHP function autoloader class require once string to lower class.php SPL autoload register autoloader. Yeah, I don't understand that at all, my guy. What is an autoloader? Like an Emacs autoloading has to do with packages, but I don't know how that works in PHP. What's going on there? I don't use this, do I? I do free it a little too much. Perfect. This is probably again, it looks like code duplication, but it's not. They're two different things. Because this checks for 1, and this checks for 0. To do that. When I do new Discord PHP client TCP socket, it calls function autoloader require one string to lower class.php. Easy said. I see. So you're making it so like when you create your class, it auto calls this function from Discord. That's pretty cool. I see. Or it requires the proper include. That's baller. It auto includes. Nice. That would be nice in C, just auto includes. Never have to worry about it. Alrighty. This is awesome. This is awesome. Let's think about what actually Codegen would look like. Why not? Does anybody know here how to Codegen? Let me know in chat. I'll do it right quick. This is just going to be compiler Codegen header. And we're gonna say, ooh boy, I don't even know. So there's gonna have to be like a Codegen program function, right? Which will probably return an error. Hopefully not, I guess. But we're gonna need errors. So we're gonna need a program. What did I just type? That's really cool. That's also really complicated. So when you include new, like when you create classes, you can include files, and that's complicated. PHP is pretty cool. Okay. Whoops. I am including namespace. I forgot to use it. I see. So you're kind of like, yeah, including a module, or kind of like import in Python or include in C. I think it's similar. And this is going to see Codegen program requires a program. It's kind of important. We're probably also going to need like the parsing context, but we're not there yet. So we're going to have lots of to-dos. Open file. Close file. We could probably do that. I need... Where would the A be? Elemental PQRS. We need standard IO. This is going to be code. Open. Why not code.txt for writing and binary? That looks good enough for me. Then we can have close code, and I don't care if close fails. Should we do that? I think we should do this. Yeah. That's good enough. All right, so now at this point we have our file, and to do, generate code. That's good. I like the pointy smile. So we're gonna say like, node expression program children, right? While expression equals expression next child. Switch on expression.type. Hey, Otsego Electric, you followed just before the end of last stream. How's it going? How's it going? I'm doing okay. We are coding and somewhat making nominal amounts of progress. So, you know, not too bad. I guess we're just gonna have break be the default for now. How do we generate a none? I don't think we should run into these. You know what I mean? Like, I think we only need to actually, at the top level of the program, deal with declarations and reassignments at this point. Because we don't actually have expressions necessarily. But they're not going to be hard to implement. Because an expression is just basically a node with a child, right? That can be one of a few different things. But yeah, thank you so much, Otsego Electric, for asking how's it going. I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing yourself? What brings you to today's stream? So at the top level, so again, to do, handle nested scopes, stack-based variables. Otherwise, we should just skip these. And then at the end, so if this is assembly, we're going to need like some enums and stuff for settings, right? For what to generate. So we're going to have this Codegen program we'll do att assembly. I think that's good enough. And then we'll have like a top level Codegen program that takes in an enum and then calls different ones of these. I think that's the way to do it. Like this. Let's figure out that enum. Looks good enough to me. And we're going to have default equals 0. Sure. And then x86-64 att. I can't put an and in there, can I? att assembly. Sure. Why not? And then we can have Codegen program. And it's going to take in Codegen output format enum. Yeah, this looks doable. Why not? Then we'll just switch on the format. And this would be, we're going to call this CG output format, like that. We'll just do that output format default. That way I can find them easy. And then this is just going to be call that. So I guess this could also just be an if, but we'll do this. We'll do this. It's fine. Otsego Electric says, I'm continuing my project like text editor, just for learning purposes. Nah, allocating memory is a pain in the ass. You're absolutely correct. What is your fundamental issue? You're not defined yet. Thank you, C. You're absolutely right. Allocating memory can be rough. You're working on a text editor? That's really cool. I'm also working on a text editor. What's the idea of your text editor? Like, what's your framework? Are you basing it on Emacs or Vim or like an existing one? Do you have some new niche idea to bring? I don't mean to put you on the spot. I'm just curious. You said just for learning purposes. But I'm curious, like, what approach you took. Is it a graphical text editor? Is it in the terminal? I have so many questions. So many questions. To do, actually generate code. Handle nested scope, stack-based variables. And then at the end of this, we're actually going to have to go through all the top-level variable declarations. I guess we could do it at the start, too. So we're going to start to need the size of types. Yes. So I think types are going to have a specific thing. So let's think about this. So in the types environment, we would like to say a type has a symbol with an identifier. Is that a type identifier? I think that's understandable. Otsego Electric says, something like Vim because I like and use it so much. That's a great idea. I did the same thing. I like and use Emacs so much, I'm like, well, time to make a text editor. I want to implement built-in syntax highlighting for CXX files. That would be sweet. That's a large task, by the way. That's pretty difficult. That's like language server integration type things. Or tree sitter. You could do tree sitter. Or a tree sitter style of syntax highlighting. But it's going to be rough. So it has a symbol identifier. And then currently, what does it point to? Why is there an integer here? What is this? Right? What do I ever use? So I get it here, checking for an invalid type. That's literally it. We check for invalid type. So technically, we don't really need a size. But we do need a size on actually here's the thing. Then when we use it, what type do we use? So when we declare a new variable and we get the type, how do we actually set the new type? Well, we don't set the new type. That's right. But which type do we use? We use result because we get into result. So this would not work, right? Because if we look up a type by its symbol identifier, we're going to get this. But this, I guess ideally should be the built-in type. But, so maybe we need a type node itself that can hold a type value, and the type node would store things like byte size. N. Sure. Eternal Wild Fox says, I hope I have mine refactored Discord code PHP up and running by today or tomorrow. That would be so cool. Eternal Wild Fox does so much work. All the time. Otsego Electric says, and some features that many plugins provide, programming on C, becomes so interesting and difficult I like it. I see. New line after provide in previous messages. Nice. So, and some features that many plugins provide. Okay. My brain is broken. And some features that many plugins provide. Nice. So you want to implement built-in syntax highlighting and some features that many plugins provide. Programming on C becoming so interesting and difficult, I like it. Eternal Wild Fox is just posting PHP in the chat. Some startup code. That's pretty sweet. So you're basically creating a bot. That's so cool. That looks much better, I think, than what you've shown us before. That's much more concise and simple. So I want to look it up by a symbol identifier so that I can get a value of a type. I think that's not too crazy. Oh, that's where I am. So yeah, why not? We're just going to do this. Node type type. Why not? Eternal Wild Fox says, I didn't show my test code, lol. I see. Didn't you, Oh, that's right. You showed the chip 8 assembler. You showed some screenshots and stuff. But for the Discord bot, you never showed the test code. I see. Hey, Landar XT is in the house. He says, "Oh no, I'm late for once." It's all good, Landar. I'm just glad you're here. Did you see how close we are to affiliate? It's insanity. 9 more followers because we got a follower this stream already. We need 9 more followers. We're at 41 out of 50. It's so cool. So amazing. We're almost there. Eternal Wild Fox says, this client code kicks off WebSocket class and the TCP socket class. Kicks off. Kicks off. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Kind of WebSocket class and the DNS. Or maybe it replaces? Are you saying the client code uses? Nice. I see. I was like, kicks off. I'm trying to figure it out. This client code uses WebSocket class and the TCP socket class. Nice. So those previous snippets you sent us, those were clean code, by the way, in the Discord. But yeah, so that uses that. That's so sweet. So we have a node type. And it's effectively just going to be, sure, refer to another type. Is this allowed? Look at this recursion. So we have a type, and the type can be of type, and it can have a value of a type. Oh no. I am all in for readable code which does not really need comments. Yeah, that's the ideal, I guess. I don't know why. I think most of the time you shouldn't need comments. Like, I think all of this is fairly understandable if you understand C. It's like, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. Makes sense. But most of my comments are like, hey, this is definitely wrong because this is a recursive call in our parser. I hate recursive parsers. Parsers that are recursive suck, and I hate them. Just repeat that a million times because screw recursive parsers. I hate that everyone teaches that. And then it's like, well, what if you parse a file that's really long? Guess what? You're going to Stack Overflow, you dummy, because you're making recursive calls over and over and you have no protection. So we definitely need to fix this. We can use a stack-based continuation, which doesn't actually grow the program stack. We use a custom heap allocated stack, and it's all fun. It's so much fun. Eternal Wild Fox says, to be honest, I know basic C, but I am rusty with C. I didn't use it for years. That's fair. I'm the same way with like C#. I haven't written it in a while. I did game dev in my teens. Eternal Wild Fox says, I use C++ more. That's interesting. See, I use C++ in a weird way, because I don't have a standard library when I write in C++. Because I use C++ for my OS. So when I'm writing for my OS, there's no standard library. It's just the basics of C++. So I don't have like standard string. I don't have standard anything. No standard cout, obviously, because where would it print to? That doesn't work. Those are user space libraries, and I'm writing a kernel. So writing a kernel is my experience in C++, which is very similar to C. It's just C with classes, basically. Eternal Wild Fox says, true. Yeah, that low level. Once you get down to the low level, every language just turns into C or C++, really. C or C with classes. I've been streaming for over an hour and a half already, an hour 45. I want to thank everybody so much for watching and point you down below to the Discord. It's actually a lot of fun. We all hang out, we chat. You get announcements every time I go live. So notifications, you can ask to join a group so you get pinged and actually get like a notification every time I go live, not rely on that shitty Twitch algorithm, right? There's also the YouTube if you want to catch any previous broadcasts that you feel like you may have missed. And there's also a donate button if you have the extra money and have the extra generosity in your heart. You're not a cold son of a bitch like me. Then I would really appreciate if you could give any amount that you can. If you leave your username and a note, I will read it on stream. If you leave just a note, I'll read it on stream, but it won't be attributed to you, obviously. And yeah, I think that's my whole spiel. Back to coding. Whoa, I just blacked out for like 30 seconds. Eternal Wild Fox says, I never wrote an OS, but I have a feeling that I know what you mean. Absolutely. I believe you do as well. LandRXT says, I mean, I'd hazard a guess the majority of the population haven't written an OS. You're right. You're absolutely right. There's probably very few people across the globe who have tried to write an OS or actually succeeded, right? And calling what I made an OS so far is kind of a joke. It's like, it is a system. It does operate. There are system calls, but they're not useful yet. It's like, you're stretching the definition of OS when you call Lenser OS an OS. But it still works. It still works. This is just awful. I hate this. This is terrible. How would this work? So, right? This doesn't work. So we're gonna have a type. Type. And it can store a type. Confusing. Wonderful. So, the question is, should we now store all types like this? Or only when we need the encapsulation? I think only when we need the encapsulation. Landar asks, are you planning to work more on it or leaving it as it is? Because if you leave it as it is a fully released, technically it is a fully released OS. I'm definitely not leaving it as it is. That's not the plan, at least. Obviously time and life doesn't account for my wants. But I would greatly want to keep working on it and definitely get like the local APIC stuff up and running. That's what I was kind of reading about next. Trying to get x86-64 multi-threading so I can get all the different threads of the CPU and all the different cores doing different things, along with multiprocessing, which is just, it's a whole thing. But once I get that up and running, then I can write like user space processes that use multiple threads and have POSIX threads like P threads, and it'd be great. But yeah, I definitely want to work on threading. And then another thing I want to work on is obviously a graphical library for Lenser OS. But that means that's a lot of complicated stuff. I have to somehow create, basically it's just dynamic linking is all I have to do there, right? I have to have this graphical library process or library that calls an existing process with like a client server. There's so much to do. There's so much to do. But yeah, I don't think it's a fully released OS. I think it's still young. I just got burnt out after working for like 4 straight months on the kernel. I'm like, I just want user space. I just want user space. Then I got to user space and I'm like, I just want to sleep. I'm done. And then I worked on the text editor, and now I'm here. So you never know what'll happen next with me. So we are doing some valid parsing, but we are thinking about changing our type system a little bit, because when we store a type in the parsing context, we kind of want a type, right? And this is going to have a node type. But what if, see, the type shouldn't always have a node type. Because type is probably never going to refer to integer, for example. We'll just have an integer there. Does that make sense? I guess it may. If we need to refer to the type of integer, we're going to have to store the type of integer in the types environment. So we need a type node that is an integer. But what if we have a type node that's like a user-defined type? We kind of want this to be unique or something. You know what I mean? Or, I don't know. I don't know. We get the byte size of the type. I think that's all we need. Eventually we could do like members. like struct members or something, right? Like we could store those there, piggyback. So, so we have this types environment. I'd say we should just point directly to a type node, but the type maybe shouldn't always have a type, because we can't define a new enum for every user-defined type. We could just have like something like that, right? And then this type could point to this. Okay, that's not the end of the world. Whatever. We'll try it. We'll try it. Because all we need is the byte size and the members of the user-defined structures. And then we could even have, like, eventually, instead of just having members, we could have, like, members, right? Have a list of members, and then have the children of that be the members. And then that would also allow us to members have like a list of functions, right? And then we could have functions, member functions. Or we could just allow functions within members, but I think sorting them would be easier. So I think this is all doable. Alrighty. I would just like to thank everybody for watching so much. We're coming up on 2 hours of streaming this morning, and I appreciate any and all of you that have tuned in. So type has a node type with a byte size of integer n. We're just going to call that an integer, but that's byte size. So sure. When do we define a new type? Types. Here we define a new type. So I'm going to need to make node symbol right? So this is just going to be a creation of a node, which refers to a type, right? So this node itself actually has a value of a type. So type node type equals node type, I guess. I don't know. Let me think about this. So this, we could just also have node add type, and then take in an environment pointer types, and then take in the node. Well, we don't need the node. What do we need for a new type? We're going to need byte size, right? And some way to refer to the new type identifier, or type symbol, or whatever. So with the type identifier and the byte size, we should be able to do it. And maybe the value of a type node isn't anything? I don't know. We'll just give it a, what is it? Type node type value dot type equals type. So we create a new node. We assign its type to be a type. So its value is a type, and it has a type of type, right? We're just going to call this, yeah, we'll do node add type. So we create our new type node. Can we just take in, instead of type identifier, we take in a symbol like that. If not types, or not type symbol, return null. No, just assert. They should never be. Assert types, and cannot add type to null types environment. Sure. And then the type symbol cannot add null type symbol to types environment. Wonderful. Don't you love assert error handling? All right, all right. So now this type, we would now like to say environment set within types, the type symbol. So this is going to take ownership of type symbol, right? Yes, because we need to say basically if this does not equal whatever it should be. What are we calling environment set? So we need to have it be 1 because it's a creation of new binding. Right. Then if this does not equal 1, then this is a type redefinition error. Sure, whatever. Node value. So we would like to set this to the type node. So the type symbol gets bound to the type node in the types environment. And we said the word type a lot. So if it does not equal 1, we have a type redefinition error. So I guess we should kind of do this. So I guess we have to return an error and have like node pointer result. I guess we don't need to return anything because we're just setting it in the environment now. We're doing add type. Return OK. So here's what we'll do. We'll do error create error. This is going to be an error. We'll just call it a type error for now, because it is a type error, and we're going to say redefinition of type, right? And we're going to print, hopefully, type that was redefined. This is a terrible system for error messages, but at least it works, right? And this is just going to be like that. Value symbol. Perfect. So now the type symbol we are given gets printed out in the case of a type redefinition. Otherwise, it gets set and we can return OK. Okay. So thinking about this, just drinking some water. Thinking about this, when we define a new type, right, then we need to set the byte size as the child of the byte node. Yes. Let's do that a little differently. Yes. So then I would like to say that the type of the size node is an integer. This may be overkill. Also, is integer just an integer? It's a long. We'll just take that. Byte size cannot be 0 or negative. sure. Not too bad. I think that's more understandable. Create the size node, create the type node, make the child the size. And then set it, and if it works, otherwise there's an error. Insertion failed. Hey. Node type max equals 8 in parser.c line 111. Okay, so no longer equals 8. There's more types. And this is in node compare. So the new type, I just compared types. So comparing types is kind of, should never be done, right? I don't think I need the comment and the thing. This can just say nothing. Types should never be compared. Right? I guess they should be, because we're going to have to ask, hey, do we have this matching type? So that's going to be another, oh, added to the to-do. Compare two type nodes. Instead of comparing the type of two nodes, this compares two type nodes. Line 213. In print node. So how do we print a type? We already print all of its children. So we just need to say node type. Type. Hey, we made it. Also, we didn't break out of this classic fall through case. We're back where we started. Yep, it's going well. Everything is going well. So now that we have this node type, we would kind of like to say node add type. I don't know what I'm doing there. So we're basically just going to say if this dot type does not equal error none, error. Okay. And we would like to add what type? Sure, why not? We'll chain it. So we would like to add to the types environment. We would like to add an integer called integer, which is the size of long. Should be makes node symbol or whatever. We are just gonna break this up a little bit, I think. Yeah, we'll do that. Well, just to make it readable, because this is kind of awful. Oops. So if error.type does not equal error none, same thing here. Okay, so now that should work, and it's going to break everything. You ready? Mismatch types. Because we did an error type. Because look, this is no good. This is no good. Also, this is a use after free. This is no good. This is no good. So effectively, that has to happen either way. So variable binding is, what is this? So we get the variable in the variable's context. And it should have a type symbol, question mark? I don't even know. What does it currently contain is what I'm asking. Eternal Wild Fox says, be right back, need some coffee. That's fair. Get that cocainum. Alrighty, alrighty. So we have a type. So this variable binding. So when we set variables, what changes? See, we just set it to the type node. Which is just result type. And result is from environment get of the expected type symbol from types. Okay, that's why. We're getting it now. So something like that. I think I should have like a type ID that refers to existing enums, but does not actually contain it. Okay, so to do extract node type. So we need to extract the node type declaration outside of node and have node contain a type ID integer that maps to the node type enum but is not bounded. Honestly, I think we could just do that without breaking too many things. So now the type is just an integer, but we still check and assign it to these node types. But that means that we can assign our own integers and not worry about being bounded by this enum crap. I think that may be able to let us remove this. I know, everything we just created is a lie. You're welcome. Because now this type can be anything, which means that the type, honestly, I don't even know if we need the type anymore. So let's see what that breaks. We still need to add a type. It's still the size of a long and still the symbol integer. That's all the same. Yep, and we can now accept, sorry, excuse me, an integer as a type, right? So its type is going to equal type. Its value is going to equal whatever as well. 0 when we create it, right? So this type node still needs to have a child referring to the size. I think that's correct. But the type node is now basically self-documenting. I don't even know what to call that, right? Alrighty. So now we add a new type. The type node has the proper type and has a child of size. See, this will break guess it won't break because the type should never have like its normal value. Like if we add a type, a function declaration, it will normally contain children, but its actual type. Also, these are only literal types. This is kind of interesting, because these are only structures and integers and stuff like that. It's whatever. We'll keep it going. We'll keep it going. So we have types. Type node. What happens? Perfect. Okay, there's no longer a node type type. We're going to get rid of that and change the assert. And it works. Okay. That's worrying. So now, that actually makes sense. Oh, looks like we got some... Hey, we got someone new in the Discord. Thank you so much for joining. How's it going? What's up? Hey, that's a cool wave. That was a lucky one, huh? How is it going, Voimi? Unless you're not watching the stream, in which case that'd be pretty funny. We don't have types anymore as their own node type, but we do have... Yes, we do have type checking somewhat. See? Yeah, so... I think that makes sense. So that's variable binding. So we do type checking of the parsed expression and only accept literals in this way. Otherwise, we'd have to do type checking in another stage. All right. Error equals Lex advance, error type, error none, token length equals break, expected type symbol, load symbol from buffer. So this is checking for a valid type after a colon for a variable declaration, in which case we get a variable declaration with a valid type. We say, make sure we haven't defined a variable named the same thing before, and then continue to set the new type. And then look for initialization. And environment set takes ownership of these pointers, so they shouldn't change, which means I can do this, right? Then we can check for initialization and update the node in place. Yep. I think that's a better order of things. Makes a lot more sense. Okay. We now parse variable declarations in a very basic way. Not nested scopes at all yet. We still just have top level variable declarations. So to do, Axe asks, are you also implementing type inference? Eventually, yes, we're going to have type inference. Because like, there's no reason when somebody declares a variable that they can't do this, right? We know that 69 is an expression that will always return an integer, no matter what, every time the program runs. So the compiler will be smart enough to go, okay, even if A is not existent, right? If that's commented out. Sorry, I'm starting to lose my voice. But if A is commented out, then hopefully we could still do something like this eventually. Because if you'll notice, the only difference is actually the type name in there, right? We take a look at these two. But yeah, that's eventually in the plans. For now, statically typed. Well, always statically typed, but for now, very statically typed, where type annotations are required for every variable that is declared. To do. Allocate space for all global variable declarations. So we kind of just have to loop over all the children and find variable declarations, in which case we should do to do basically we need to get size of type, generate dot space size with identifier space size. Keep track of identifier somehow, right? Whoa, did not mean to do that one. Awesome. Awesome. So when we codegen our program for x86-64 AT&T assembly, these top level variable declarations, we need to get the size of the type, right? So ideally, this variable declaration right? It has a child of a symbol, and the type node is actually bound in an environment. That way we don't have all these duplicate type nodes sitting around, and we don't have to like fill in the size of every type every time we create a new variable. So then we can use this type node bound in the environment, which also lets us know in the future the same thing. So use the type node in the environment, and then also, so that means we're going to have to codegen with the parsing context. Right? And we're going to need that same thing here. And we're going to need that same thing there. Okay. Jeez. So now we have our context. Great. We'll create a little error here. Codegen program must be passed a non-null context. Sure. So, with this context, we should now be able to say get me the thing. And environment get. What are I'm sure I need the context types environment, no variables environment. Looks valid. Okay, so now I probably need some symbol, right? That's actually the child. That should be the var symbol. Ooh. What else do we need? Probably a pointer to the node. And then we can say if this, well, yeah, we'll just assume that this works because there should not be invalid calls like that. So environment get. We need to include environment. Excuse me, environment. Thank you. I just went to a different file on accident. I think I used alt dot. So now type node. We're just going to do this. We're going to go to main.c. We're going to actually, I think, attempt generating code. So Codegen program should generate something like that. We're going to need the context, and we'll just use the default output format. Wonderful. Now that we Codegen a little bit, get some new lines in there, and let's figure this out. So we will now generate code. Do I need to include Codegen? I see it did on automatically. Undefined reference. So that's our CMake doesn't include the proper file. Okay. A label can only be part of a statement. Declaration is not a statement. So I can't declare variables within the case. That's annoying. No matter. We fix. We're gonna have temp node. All right. A is a variable initialized to an integer with the value of 69. B is a variable initialized to nothing. So default initialized, that's 0. So it's an integer with 0 value. Code generated. Yeah, whatever. Okay. So we have supposedly what we need, because the type ID we now have, right? Is that what we're saying? So the child of a variable declaration contains the symbol, right? And that symbol in the variable's environment returns, I see. That symbol in the variable's environment returns the type node, which has our type ID, right? So now we have our type ID, but we don't have our type symbol. which is an interesting one, right? So in our types environment, it should be not a type symbol, it should be a type ID, but we're also going to need symbols to IDs. We kind of need a two-way map. This is kind of interesting, right? Because we have the case where we are parsing and we need to check, hey, does this type exist? So we have some symbol that, whoops, knocked some off my shelf. We have a symbol and we check if it's a type in the types environment. But the issue is we're also going to end up with, when during Codegen, right, a type ID instead of a type symbol. So maybe we should just store types as symbols and then do type checking in a separate stage, which would have its own understanding of how everything works. And then in Codegen, we can just look up the symbols in the environments. Same with type checking, I guess. That's not the worst, right? So what would that mean? So that would mean that in variable declarations, we would have a symbol, but instead of having a type node which has its type set, what is it bound to? We would need to get a symbol, the type symbol, which is... Also, do I ever free this node? That's probably a memory leak. Because I never actually use it past here. So this expected type symbol, we can just call it type symbol. I don't know why I called it expected type symbol, because it's expected to be a type, but if this check passes, then it is a type symbol. Push QRDX. Hey, how are you doing? He says hi. And he also says, yeah, this is what I do. Typer has its own context. It type checks everything. And during Codegen, if I ever need to use a type, I'd look it up in the typer context. Yeah, I'm starting to figure this stuff out. See, I'm a dummy, but I'll get there in the end. The turtle wins the race or whatever, right? Thank you so much for tuning in, Push QRDX. How are you doing today? What brings you into the stream? So, okay, invalid type within variable declaration. So this type symbol, which is uniquely see, where does type node? Doesn't it get messed with down here? See its value. This is awful. Yes, this is awful. This is, yeah, basically the worst. So let's do it a little differently. We're not going to have a type node. Our type node is going to be just a symbol. Okay, so I need a scratch buffer. My brain's getting confused. We have context. No company mode, please. We have context. Contains types. It contains variables. State. Okay. Okay. I don't know why those errors showed up. PushQRDX says, fine. Well, I peeked at Twitch, found you online, tuned in because I like it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Considering there's not very many viewers, you're actually a very rare person in the world, right? You're very special. Not many people are sitting here watching this. It's interesting. Okay, so we have types. And types is going to be type symbol bound to what? Type info of some sort, which is going to require like size in bytes, right? But then variables, we're going to have the var symbol. Sure. Or your stream is underrated. Oh, true, true. Maybe it's just, this is like god level tier content. And it's just, it's not out there yet. I don't think so though. I think I'm, I'm still in my beginning phase. Hey, Eternal Wild Fox is now connecting a WebSocket from PHP by himself. That's so cool. You know what would be cool? I really wish Twitch had a better WebSocket API, because PubSub kind of sucks, and EventSub is all webhooks, and I don't want to create a goddamn server. So the var symbol is going to go to a typed symbol. I think that's fine. Right? It should probably have like an expression, a value expression. No? I don't think that should be in the environment. I think that's in the AST. In the actual context, we just have variables to types, types to type info. This is looking like it makes sense. That's a little scary. Okay. So where do we do this? So we have type symbol. Type symbol now gets transferred ownership through environment set here. So Eternal Wild Fox, if you got the WebSocket connecting, does that mean you can actually connect as a client to like Discord servers and things? Because that's pretty sweet. If you can do that from code, that's very cool. Yes. Oh, that's so cool, my guy. You're like, you have your Discord bot up and running already. That's so cool. You work so fast, by the way, Eternal Wild Fox. You get things done so fast. Most likely also to Twitch WebSocket gateway. Yeah. Yeah, they, but don't they only have like PubSub? That's their only API? Because I think EventSub, where you can get most of the information from, it's only webhooks. I may be wrong. You probably know much more than me. I've just been looking into this because I want to make it like when I get a subscription on Twitch, I want it to have a message show up in Discord. But that's actually difficult. And I'm not a network guy. Eternal Wild Fox says, to be honest, I still have to rewrite the Discord API part. That's fine. Honestly, I still have to rewrite like all of this code that you see on screen, so I wouldn't worry about rewrites. Rewrites are always on the horizon, right? I've been streaming for over 2.5 hours. I do want to remind everybody that I greatly appreciate you for watching, and spending any time sitting here watching me program is time that I really appreciate, that you're giving me, and your attention. It's so important, and it's really cool to me that I have people that watch. So thank you so much. I just want to thank you. Check out the Discord if you want to, come say hi, have friends. We can all talk to each other about our programming progress. We're so close to affiliate. We got 3 followers today already, so this is 41 out of 50, and this is already up to 3. So it's like, all we need is 9 more followers, and we are at affiliate. So I just want to thank everybody in the community for getting me to this point, and I believe that we are going to go so much further. I guess I'll just leave this for debug information. Doesn't really matter. Type node undeclared. Okay. So the actual type ID, because currently we're doing type checking very literally. I don't think, we're just going to remove type checking entirely from this. We're going to do it in a separate stage. No more type checking. Eternal Wild Fox says, I'm so glad I got SVN running. I missed it so much. That's awesome. I've never used SVN. Does it have advantages over Git? Yeah, this is terrible. What is all this? Jesus. I don't even know what any of this is. Oh Lord. So this actual expression. So I'm trying to handle variable initialization. Right? So I'm trying to handle variable initialization here. And ideally, I would parse the expression and then have some way of saying, hey, this is an expression that needs type checked, right? Eternal Wild Fox says, I'm in combination with GitHub. Nice, yeah. Axay says, that's awesome. Probably talking about Eternal Wild Fox's Discord bot. Very cool. PushQRDX says big files. That's why SVN is most popular among game devs, because of big assets. I see. That makes sense. So they have a better compression algorithm and everything. Git is not like that. It kind of just wants to store your data. Plain text. Eternal Wild Fox says, I don't know GitHub that good. I see. GitHub is just a remote server to host your Git local copy, right? So GitHub does have like its whole ecosystem, but you don't have to use it. It's basically just a remote server to hold your Git clone on. Yes, but yeah, that makes sense that SVN probably has like better compression, so it handles larger files. So beforehand, we only accepted literals, but we type checked them in the parser, which is awful, right? We should just say this has an initial expression. So variable declarations within the AST. This is definitely wrong. GitHub is like a GUI for Git on a repository level. Exactly. But does it for many repos as an aggregator. Yeah, it's like a search engine of repos, and it just displays repos to you. Absolutely. Hey, Gnarly Quack, how's it going? I didn't know you were here. We had a lurker. Gnarly Quack says, I think SVN might store changes as diffs from some reference point, whereas Git stores new versions of changed files. What? Git doesn't... Git only stores differences in a tree. It uses diff, the Unix command line tool, to create patches consistently. I don't think Git stores new versions of changed files, unless, like, even if you rename them, it has a specific action it takes. It just transfers the hash. As far as I know, Git completely replaces files that are changed. I would believe it, but I don't think it's true. Because it's possible that they just use diff to show you the differences. You know what I mean? But you're actually able to like commit and stage certain parts of a file. Like if I want to have one thing, also that's bothering me. That's not how multi is spelled. But you absolutely could be right. I have no clue. I mean, I've done a lot of work with Git, but I have no clue. That'd be That would be crazy. Wouldn't repositories get like gigantic, like gigabytes really fast? If you have like a 1 megabyte file after like 5 commits, so that's like 5 megabytes, right? That's insane. And wouldn't the Linux kernel? That would be insanity. But whatever its objects are. Exactly. So I think you're so the objects, the get objects, the actual hashed objects in the .git, those are, where is it? Refs? Heads? No. It's somewhere in here. They probably, Emacs doesn't show them actually, is what's happening. That's why I'm confused. Like, wait a second. But yeah, I do believe they replace the object files that they hash. But they don't actually, so I guess they would have to store the new version of that too, and the old version. And that's why it's bad for large assets. That would make a lot of sense. Okay, we came full circle. So the first of a var decal is a symbol. Symbol with variable identifier. Symbol. Type name? I don't know. Type identifier? See, we could do it like that, but that's stored in the environment, so we don't need that. This would have to be an expression with the value of itself, basically, right? Some expression. So we'll do initialize that. Initialize expression. Or none. Or 0 allocation. Or whatever. Yeah. We'll just say or none. And then we're going to node add child. I guess we need a none. It's going to need something like this. I think that's good enough. Gnarly Quack responds to my "how are you doing?" with "anyway, I'm doing okay. Kind of a rough week, but I guess I can't really complain too much, all told. Hope you're doing well, Lenzer." Thank you, Gnarly Quack. I'm sorry you had a rough week. Hopefully it starts looking up, but even if it doesn't, I know you're strong enough to get through it. I'm doing okay, to answer your question. Getting through it. Had a busy few days, but nothing I can complain about compared to what happens in this terrible, terrible world. So I would like to add a none as a child to the var decal by default. But then I would like to have this be a node that I can change. Value expression. Right? Already. That doesn't seem too insane. That doesn't seem too insane. So now with this value expression, we would like to given we find something, just going to include this in this stuff. So we can free assigned expression, but not its contents, which have been filled here, because value expression has already been allocated. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Variable assignment expression has mismatched type. But hey, we got our variable declaration correct. Haha. So variable assignment expression has mismatched type. Let's figure that out. Yes, this would. So this is the same issue that we're dealing with here, right? I guess we still need to parse. But we're kind of gonna take some different cues here. Sure. Value expression. I don't know if I'm going to allow reassignment to none. I think I'm going to use none as the... Yeah, I'm going to use none as the zero initializer, basically. So if none is in this second child, that means that no initialize expression was given. Whereas here, in a reassignment, we definitely want always to have a value expression to reassign to. So this value expression interesting. So the reassign expression, because we always use it, we can just pass it directly. So we skip type checking for now because we are parsing. So to do is add back type checking, right? Hey, haha. This is good. This is good. I think we are actually sane. Things are happening that aren't insane. Our context makes sense. It's not just terrible. Okay, we're not insane anymore. Hooray! Can we get a pog in the chat? We're not insane. No, but this is good. This is good. So we have our type symbol, which will map to the info we need about the type. Interesting. So then in the type checker, what's going to be our idea, right? What's the whole idea of the type checker? The type checker will go through the entire tree. So walk the tree, walk the AST, and we're basically just going to be checking a lot of these declarations with initializations and assignments, and then we're going to be type checking and making sure, hey, those work. Gnarly Quack says, in quotes, I'm crazy. You're crazy. We're all crazy. You wouldn't be here if you weren't. Alice in Wonderland misquote, FYI. Lamau. Way to tattle on yourself there. With the misquote. Oof. Thank you so much, Gnarly. We are all crazy. Otherwise, why would we be making compilers, right? What's the point? It just is the worst, I think. Because all we truthfully have to do is say, point to a new node with our working result, right? And then right into that. Because here's the thing, our working result should be like, yeah, effectively, we need a node that we are currently adding to. which would be our program normally, but we're not given that normally because in main.c, see, that's how that works. So we should be given a program in parse expression. I believe. Because then our working node is the program's last child. Right? So what if, for example, in main.c, currently we're creating a new child every time we get an expression. But what if we created this child, got into it? Here's the thing. Here's what I'm talking about. So parse expression, I'm thinking it needs to take a program so that it can parse a singular expression into the program, if that makes sense, because that's kind of what parse expression should do. Eternal Wild Fox says, well, back to the assembler, meaning I'm also going into the Lexer parser area. Hell yeah, that's awesome. So you're going to write a chip aid assembly, Lexer and parser and stuff? Hopefully that will definitely be an easier time than this language, luckily. But I know that chip 8 has a lot of different like variations on the same opcodes, right? They have like a whole table. I might be thinking of the NES instead. I can't remember. I've been streaming. Eternal Wild Fox says yes. Okay, so it does. It is that I was thinking about. Yeah, so it's going to be a little complicated. You got some stuff to figure out based on like pattern matching, but you should be able to, yeah, it's doable. It's doable. I've been streaming for almost 3 hours for this morning, and I just want to thank everybody so much for watching. Everybody that is watching, everybody that has watched, I thank you. I appreciate you. Eternal Wild Fox says, already wrote one, but it is not OOP. You are very into that object-oriented programming. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Having a design goal and actually being able to meet it is pretty impressive, right? Oh yes, I've been streaming for nearly 3 hours. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to hit that follow button. We already have the 3 other requirements for Twitch affiliate. All we need for Twitch affiliate is 9 more followers. So if you would, tell your friends that like programming, tell them to come here, follow, you follow, and hopefully we can get to Twitch affiliate. We can get some VIP members in here. We can get subscriptions. We can get cheer bits. We can have custom emotes. Like it's the world's gonna open up, I promise. Just hit that follow button. And if you want notifications every time I go live, be sure to check out the link to Discord down below. Hey, Bin Bash. Hello, it's good to see you. But yeah, I make announcements every time I go live. You can get notifications if you ask to join this group, like many people already have. It's wonderful. But yeah, that's my spiel. There's also a donate button down below if you have the extra money and the extra time. I don't really have any other source of income, so I'd greatly appreciate any and all donations that come in. If you leave a message, I'll read it on stream, and if you leave like a name or an identifier, I'll attribute it to you. And if you, I'll probably say how much was donated as well. Speaking of, I want to thank my first donator ever, VMe, who hangs out in chat. He's not here right now, but I want to thank him just because he is so awesome. And he donated $10.80 to this wonderful, wonderful stream and this wonderful, wonderful community. So thank you, VMe, for that donation. Gnarly Quack says, you'll also have ads and a restriction on when you can upload VODs to other programs. Not saying you shouldn't go affiliate, just make sure you read the contract. Absolutely. I don't read any. I don't not read anything I sign. I read everything through all the way. Platforms, not programs. Yeah, I know what you meant. YouTube and stuff. Honestly, I don't think that's a big deal. It's not like I have a following on YouTube. I'm not really worried about it. And the fact that I'll have ads is kind of a plus, right? Because I know it's not as nice for you guys. You have to sit through, first of all, just pre-rolls when you click on the stream, which is not the best. But I think that the positives of it are worth it, right? So while there are going to be sometimes pre-rolls, and we're going to have to do mid-rolls if we want to keep, if we don't want Twitch to bomb us, right? Oh, hey, my internet just crapped out. Hopefully it doesn't go out. Love you all. Anyway, I think the positives outweigh the negatives because we're going to actually be able to... Here, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this today. I'm not going to have time, so we will not do it. Apparently it drives away viewers for small streamers because they don't want to sit through a pre-roll. See, that's definitely a possibility, but I don't think worrying about progressing is helpful in any way. If that makes sense. I think I should just try and progress. There's no reason to like sit around and nitpick like, should I do this? I don't know. Although I personally prefer pre-rolls versus in-stream ads if the streamers don't account for them and pause their content. Yeah, I'm definitely not just gonna like run ads in the middle of while I'm talking, explaining something, right? But the thing is that Twitch will automatically run ads for people if you don't run them often enough, right? So they say like if you don't run an ad once an hour, like 1 minute of ads every hour, then they're actually gonna insert their own ads in their own places. So I think as long as I keep up on it and run my own ads, it's not really going to be a big deal. I'm not going to get interrupted. Nothing's really going to change. It's just going to be like every once in a while, like literally 1 minute an hour, we're going to be sitting and doing something else. You have an option for a pre-roll or to run so many ads and hours. Sort of. It doesn't work exactly like that, but you're right. The platform is supposed to alert you when an ad is about to roll. I'm pretty sure they work differently than that from what I've read through in my creator dashboard and the creator camp of Twitch. It seems like as long as you run enough ads, you have full control where they go. But if you don't run enough ads, then they put in their own. If that makes sense. All right. We did it. So now we have a symbol integer. So we have the type symbol now in Codegen. That's good. So then we need to do another environment get. And look at us. Why does it have a child? That's a little confusing. So why does types have a child? Oh, it's probably an add type. I'm still doing some crazy stuff. Yeah, so that child is actually the size of the type. So an integer is a default value of 0, and it has a size of 8 bytes. We are getting there. Gnarly says not an affiliate though, so can't say I know from experience. I've just been looking into it. It's very possible, likely even, I don't know what I'm talking about, lol. I feel you, Gnarly Quack. I feel that same way. Like, it's very possible, nah, likely even, that I am wrong. But yeah, as far as I know, I'm gonna get like a button to run an ad, is how it works. And I'm gonna be able to like run a 3-minute ad or a 30-second ad or a 5-minute ad, or from what I've read through. And I should be able to like run very specifically what I want to run. And my plan is to have like little breaks, little ad breaks, right? And I'm also going to make it a stretching break. So I'm going to mention to everybody, hey, get up, stretch. If you're sitting down, stand up. Unless you're on the toilet, that'd be weird. But if you're not on the toilet, get up, stretch, move around, and then sit back down after that ad is done. And that will also help us keep our our veins circulating blood and not making blood clots that will kill us. So I think it's a good idea for affiliate. It's a it's a physical help and a financial help, and I'll get boosted on the algorithm. And Gnarly Quack says, not faulting anybody for wanting to make cash either, but just make sure you're benefiting as much from the platform as Twitch is from you, that's all. Yeah, that's kind of why I try and pull people to our little own community, right? That's why we kind of have the Discord to be here, and we can all, like, this is completely separate from Twitch. So every time I make a new announcement, I could not go live on Twitch. I could switch. I could only announce when I make YouTube videos all of a sudden, right? But the community stays around. Yeah, if you're like P-Bake, I can't read. Yeah, if you're like P-Break and roll an ad, no complaints, IMO. Awesome. Yeah, that's exactly my plan. My plan is like, hey, everybody, just stand up. If you're sitting down, move around, stretch, and I'll be back in like 30 seconds. And then I've been thinking about getting a timer or writing a timer in Emacs so that I can like have a big countdown timer on screen. Because there's no like countdown or stopwatch, you know what I mean, in Emacs. But I want just like a big countdown on screen, or count up, so it could count how long I've been gone. But yeah, that's the plan. Simple, simple. Thank you for voicing these concerns, Gnarly Quack. It's really important, I think, to talk through this stuff with the community and make sure that everything's transparent, you know what I mean? It's not just like, give me your money. It's like, well, here's how I make money, and I don't think I make enough, so here's why I ask for donations, right? Because I'm always going to have the donate button on top of Twitch subscriptions and being cheered at, right? Because I'll appreciate all those forms of income, but those help Twitch more than they help me. The PayPal donations are like direct to me. It's glorious. It's the lowest the lowest fee that gets taken out ever. Even from like, it's a lower fee than if I get paid by a job. It's incredible. Because if I have to cash a check, it's like, what, 4% or something. It's horrible. But I've had streamers literally start to reply to a comment of mine just as I'm kicked to an ad. Ugh. Ugh. I usually take off at that point. Yeah, I can imagine. That feels like a very disingenuous thing. But all that means is that they're not running enough ads themselves. They don't hit the button enough. Because Twitch says, like if you don't run 1 minute of ads per hour, they add their own. And it could be at any time that they add their own, right? So the idea would be to, yeah, not have that happen. But pre-rolls are not up to me. It's kind of a Twitch thing. And if you're really popular, they add back pre-rolls so that they can get more people watching ads. So it's like, it's a whole thing. Also, if you can't tell, we are winding down for the stream. I've been streaming over 3 hours at this point, and I'm starting to lose my voice. So hopefully it doesn't get too bad. Awesome. We are hanging out. This is awesome. Sorry about that pause. I just had to deal with some phone stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate everyone for watching today. And every day, obviously. Everyone who watched and has watched. We are on our way to being affiliate. We just need 50 followers. We're so close. We have an average of 3 viewers. You guys are great. You hang out, and I feel like we have a lot of fun, and I'm excited to see where this goes. This compiler is definitely coming together now. We're going to have to create a type checking stage, and we're also going to have to start creating different types of expressions that we parse, right? Currently, we're just parsing the colon and the equals as operators, and that's kind of it. So we should add in, I mean, we got to add strings eventually, right? Like byte strings. We could add arrays, we can add dictionary, like there's so much we can add. It's so incredible. We have so much to do. On top of this compiler, I have a lot of plans. for example, to here, let me see if I can open this on my other monitor so I don't dox myself. Yeah. Okay, okay. I can now go here. Perfect. So you can see that there's a lot of stuff I have planned. We're currently working on a new compiler, right? And all of this other stuff, this is stuff we can still do, or stuff I need to do, like read a book. Gnarly Quack says, anyway, I've got to head out for a haircut. Hope the rest of your day goes well, Lenzer. Thank you so much, Gnarly Quack. I hope your day goes well as well, and you are going to look swimming in that haircut. It's going to be wonderful. Good luck with your day as well, my guy. Have fun, and keep it real. It'd be fun to create a transpiler, which we could already do with our compiler. We have a bunch of new programming languages to learn. There's even more on here now. There's Algol 68. Every bit helps, I guess. That's right. We'll slowly chip away at this compiler and all this other stuff we can do. We can code music. So in like Haskell or Pascal, we can, you know, create a sine wave generator of floats and then write those floats to an audio file, and that's basically a PCM file, a pulse width modulation. So we can code music. That would be fun together. We can do Lua, embed Lua in a C program. I don't know what we would do there, but it sounds fun. Maybe we could add like a Lua interpreter as an optional library for my text editor. That would be fun. Lua interpreter as optional library for Light. Well, I did that now. I'll just say captured on blah. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to do. We can insert data into JPEG and PNGs and stuff like that because they work as segments of chunks, and you can put in chunks of an unknown type and most people will just ignore it, like browsers. So you can still open the JPEG, but you have your own custom like sneaky hacker data in there. Gnarly Quack says, computer generated copyright free background music for the stream. That would be pretty epic, actually. Anyway, I'm off. Take care. Bye, Gnarly. Thank you so much for coming out. Grammar to Parser Boy is back. He says, yeah, now my compiler has a percentage operator, and you can also overload it. That's so awesome. That's really cool. So backlang has a percentage operator now, huh? Is it backlang? I think it's backlang. I may have got that wrong. Yeah, it's backlang. I am correct. I am correct. Hey. Very cool. That's very cool to see. Eternal Wild Fox says, nice, GG. Good game. It's over for us now. You're too smart. We bow down. You're so far ahead of all of us. So awesome, Grammar to Parser Boy. Thank you for sharing. That's very cool. I can't believe that no other language has like float A equals 20%. Probably like that, right? I can't believe this doesn't work. Like, percentage doesn't do anything, it's modulo. So it's a binary operator. Like, what? It's so confusing. I think you're so smart for having that idea. Like, it's genius. I'm actually excited to use backlang. I want to make something in it. Even if, like, I kind of want to make a Lisp interpreter in backlang, if that's possible. Hehehe. But yeah, we're doing good. We have to figure out some more stuff to parse. Maybe we have to do operator environments. Maybe start with having user-defined scopes. So like we could have like blocks like in C, how you can just start your own scope like this. And then you can have int A and then int A, and this is fine because this is a child scope, right? So something like that would be cool. Grammar 2 Parser Boy says, it would be possible. But yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to do next. Be sure to stay tuned. Check out that Discord down below. And if you haven't already, I know so many of you are already here checking this out and getting notifications every time I go live. We're having fun together. I really appreciate each and every one of you for watching. There's a donate button down below if you feel I deserve that moolah, that money, and you'd prefer to see me keep doing this, then be sure to donate if you can. If not, just hang around, just hang out. That's really all I want. Just be positive, don't insult people, and we will go far together, I promise. As Bill and Ted said, be excellent to each other and party on. Bye, dudes. Take care.